Hi, welcome back. Sarah here. So we're back with another collection video. Yesterday I filmed my tarot collection video, which took a couple hours, and my voice was going. Today I'm going to share just the rest of the stuff I have in my tarot, oracle, divination, card deck, and book collection. So lots of stuff there. And as always, I do put timestamps in the description, so feel free to just hop around to whichever parts you're actually interested in. All right, let's get to it. So firstly, I want to share the physical books that I have. I don't have that many physical books, so I'd just like to quickly share the ones that I feel are worth keeping, and also just flip through a few on camera for you to see. The first book I'll share is The Self-Worth Path, A Guided Journey to an Empowered Life by Lisa Papez. This is not quite a tarot book, it's more kind of like a self-help book, but I find it cool that the contents, the chapters here, are related to each of the major arcana. They're not actually explicitly named, but when you look closer, and Lisa has mentioned this in her videos, you can see that, for example, card number 9 in the tarot is the Hermit, and step 9 here is practice aloneness. So there's a lot of different ways to get to know yourself and to love yourself and to feel empowered in your body, in your life. I feel that some self-help books can feel very lofty and very disconnected from the everyday experience, but these stories and these examples and these motivations that Lisa shares just feel very personal. There are sections like this, such as Put It Into Practice, which I love. I wish that more self-help books in general had put it into practice exercises and sessions like this. Having activities for us to actually do is just really helpful for us in applying these activities, these advices into our own lives. And there's also sections called Consider This. So these are just little almost like footnotes or just extra things to consider at the end of each chapter. And then there's points to ponder or journal about. And then again, more putting it into practice. So there's just a lot of practical tips and practical advice in this book that I really appreciate. And that's why I feel it's worth having a physical copy. And then here are the 3 tarot books that I have. So I've got Tarot for Change by Jessica Dorr. I've got 21 Ways to Read a Tarot Card by Mary Kay Greer. And Your Tarot Toolkit by Tom Benjamin. This is a workbook for building clear, precise, confident readings. There's a lot of different tarot reference books out there, and I would like to read and to collect more of them in my little tarot book library. So far, I only have Tarot for Change. I say reference book because there are some books that will share more about the tarot practice and how to learn tarot. This book really is just the different card meanings and just different things to consider with each card. So it's a very straightforward reference book. I listened to this on audiobook some years back and really enjoyed it. I like the different lens that this author brings to the cards. This actually reminds me of the Spread Machine Oracle, the change expansion that Kimberly Tan made. So change can be social change, it can be change within our own lives, change in our relationships. I will share another couple books that are on my wish list are Radical Tarot and Finding the Fool and Tarot for the Hard Work. But so far, this is my one social change related book about the tarot. Another book is 21 Ways to Read a Tarot Card. I borrowed an ebook version of this in my first year of learning tarot. Really enjoyed it. Decided to buy the physical book. So the author Mary Kay Greer lists basically, as it says, 21 ways to read a tarot card. So the 21 ways can include the posture of the figures in the card, noticing the foreground, noticing the background, noticing the symbols in the card. The format of this book is that there are a lot of activities and explanations on how to implement these activities and these exercises into you reading the cards. So this is very much like an exercise book or an activity book. And there's a lot of great information here about the colors, for example. I know that there are number meanings listed somewhere in the book. So I really like having this book in physical format because I like flipping through and seeing the different activities. It'd be nice to flip through to the different chapters and see how to practice with these activities, how to practice reading tarot cards with certain focuses. And then there's appendices in the back, which have, again, just a lot of really great information. So I really like this book for just practical application and just learning how to read tarot cards in different ways. And the last tarot book I have is Your Tarot Toolkit by Tom Benjamin. This is a workbook. I really like Tom Benjamin's reading examples and also his YouTube channel. When I was learning tarot, I really enjoyed the backlog of videos that Tom Benjamin has. He's explained a lot of practical readings and example readings and walkthroughs of readings. He's explained different reading techniques, like how to connect cards, how to find the most active card in a spread, how to read certain cards as more important than other cards. So there were a lot of really cool practical like reading examples, reading tips that I got from his channel. So I was really happy to have this book. I didn't want to write inside the book in case I wanted to maybe give it away or rewrite the answers later. So I actually just wrote everything in like notebook pages and taped them in. Sometimes I realize that it's very easy to start waxing poetic about a card or about readings. And I realized maybe halfway or at the end that the queer honestly wasn't really interested in or wasn't really connected with all of the like baffling and babbling that I was saying about the cards. So what Tom Benjamin explains is that sometimes the querent just needs the straightforward answer, the end result, in a, precise, clear way. They don't always need the reader, aka me, to like go on a whole storytelling tangent or to like really nerd out about the cards. Like there's a time and place for nerding out about the cards, and that time and place usually is not to a querent who is looking for an answer to their likely simple question. I've had this workbook for a couple years. I haven't actually finished it. I've gotten like pretty far in, but I've really found a lot of value in working through this workbook. And there's just a lot of really cool techniques here that I never thought about. And they're laid out in a very, very straightforward way. So highly, highly recommend your tarot toolkit. I know that the other book Tom Benjamin wrote is called Tarot on Earth. And I've heard that it's good for learning Marseille and other tarot readings and tarot tips. So eventually I'll probably get his other book as well. So those are the 3 tarot books I've got. All right, next we're going to do another short bit before I go to the Oracle decks and other card decks. I want to share the charms, the divination casting stuff. So I've got four different charm thingies here today. We'll do this one first. First, I've got the Charm Cast Tarot here. These are tarot charms, and I think that the art on these is just so darling. It's so cute. Look at these little like stick figures. The way that the metal has been casted here, it just makes the figures look so clear. I'm really amazed at how they were able to get so much detail on these tiny little charms. It's a lot of detail, and yet it's been simplified down enough that it just is not overwhelming to look at all. It's really adorable. I know that there's a plastic version. I do like the weight and the feel of the metal charms more. I admittedly don't use these as often as I wish I did. Maybe that'll change after I move into my new apartment. I mean, I guess anything can change. Like, my tastes are always changing. Maybe I'll get back to this, maybe I won't. I gotta stop making excuses or trying to justify why I have things but don't use them, I guess. So, I don't know. I just really enjoy having it. I have used this a little bit. I like to draw cards and then put these on top of cards, or I like to just drop them over a reading and see like which charms fall in where in the reading. But overall, they're just nice to play with. So that is the Charmcast Tarot. So these 2 just came in from Kickstarter in the past few months. This one is made of wood. This one is also made of metal. This one here is the Mystic Metals coins. Here's the little guidebook that came with it. I know that the creator is running another Kickstarter for the rest of the divination coins. So what I have here are the Major Arcana sets. But I know that the creator has also done like the full tarot coin set. So at the time that I have this, some of them might still be in production. Some of them might be available. So go check their website if you're interested in them. We have tarot coins, chakra coins, celestial coins, alchemy prime coins, elder Futhark runes, witches runes, Lenormand coins, virtue coins, and timing coins. And I know that they're making or have made dice available as well. So there's a lot that creator is working on. So what I've got here is the Major Arcana coins. I was planning on doing a fuller video, either comparing them or working with these whenever I actually get around to working with them. So here's the Charmcast Tarot. You can see how that looks so far. So like I've said, I've got all the majors here. I didn't need a full 78 set because I already had the Charmcast Tarot for that. So here's a little comparison. We've got the Star Mystic Metals and the Star in the Charmcast Tarot. You can see that the Charmcast Tarot definitely just follows Rider-Waite-Smith, albeit with little stick figures, so it's a little bit simpler. And the Mystic Metals is just, just the creator's own art or the creator's own symbols. So that's a little comparison there. And then I've got the Token Tarot, which again just came out on Kickstarter like in the past year. I didn't really read through the campaign, and or maybe I missed this in the campaign. I did not realize that the creator was printing these all at home themselves. I thought that they were going to be produced in a factory, but the creator was printing and cutting them all at home themselves. So it was really a long process in waiting for these, but that's how it is sometimes when you're just backing a project and supporting small creators. Let me see if I can find a Major Arcana to show as well. Oh, the star again. All right. Okay, so here's a comparison between all 3 stars. So you can imagine that the wooden tarot being made of wood is a lot lighter, a lot less noisy, a lot less clinky clanky. Overall, these are fun tactile toys to play with, but I do know that I want to try using these more and learning more about the techniques of casting and learning to read charms and tokens and stuff like in a more spatial sense. The experience of using these casting things is a lot different than using cards, you know? I am really enjoying having cards, which is why I probably haven't gravitated to actually using these more. But I know that the charm casting side of YouTube exists. I know that there are plenty of people who are into charm casting and token casting. I've got a pal who is into button casting, and I'm amazed by the amount of messages and readings that he can do with his buttons. So yeah, that's a quick look at the token tarot, mystic metals, and the charm cast tarot. Oh yeah, real quick, here's the token tarot little guide booklet. This is a really cool ambigram. It says token right side up. When you flip it upside down, it still says token. So this is another little booklet that just explains the meanings of the cards as well. And before I clean it up, the last thing I'll show is this other tile set. First of all, isn't this cookie tin so cute? Doesn't it remind you of like when your mom would just store sewing supplies in these cookie tins? Well, this one does not have sewing supplies. It has this Lenormand tile set. This was made by Jamie Sawyer. So this is the Sawyer's Lenormand. So she made this Lenormand deck and also herself created these different tarot tiles or these resin and wood tiles for the Lenormand cards. I don't have any other Lenormand decks. I figured that since I already have tarot cards and oracle cards, I didn't know how much I would really want to use a Lenormand deck. I figured tarot tiles or Lenormand tiles would be a much cuter way and just a different tactile experience than using a card deck. So these are some examples of the cards, the tiles that she's created. They're so cute. You can just imagine how fun these are to play with, like these wooden tokens, these wooden tiles, and then metal tiles, and then these tarot metal coins. I do know that Jamie Sawyer is clearing out or closing out her shop, so the tarot tiles or the Lenormand tiles that she has in her shop, they might be the last ones. But yeah, eventually I will likely do a video comparing all these when I have more experience with using them, but right now I'm just enjoying having them in my collection. Oh yeah, and in divination, in charm casting stuff, so the creator of the Mystic Metals, I honestly forget if I've backed it or if this was like a freebie or a stretch goal or something. They also gave me these numerology dice. These are very heavy. Like they might scuff my wood table heavy if I tried to throw them on there. And then there are these little bag of charms that the creator also gave me. I've never thought about buying my own charm set. I'm curious about it, but it just feels overwhelming to figure out what charms I would want to buy. I also considered just using board game pieces as charms instead because at least I could like have some meaning with board game pieces. But you know, now that I have a starter charm set, I can start figuring out some ideas. I feel like the images and the messages come to me a lot easier when I'm looking at the charms by myself compared to when I'm listening to other people do charm readings online. When I see a foot here, I can start imagining like footsteps or baby feet or getting back up on your feet. But then when I'm listening to someone explain it online, it just feels like, oh no, do I have to remember all these things? I guess it just goes to show like the differences between seeing something and intuiting messages for yourself versus having someone else tell you those messages, right? So those are the little charms that I unexpectedly got in the mail. Real quick, I'll also show, let's see, the couple divination mats that I have, or the charm casting mats. So this one came with the Mystic Metals one, I believe. I feel so bad that I don't remember anymore where these came from. I'm pretty sure that this came from the Mystic Metals, like, Kickstarter. So these two were from the Mystic Metals. This one has a lot of different words on it. This one has a wheel. And I bought these two casting boards from Jamie Sawyer's shop. This one is the mini tableau. So this is definitely for all the Lenormand tiles. And then this one is a zodiac, like 12 houses casting board. So this could be cool for doing like wheel of the year readings. I could use these numbers as months of the year. I could also just use this as like a general check-in reading or a predictive reading. It's fascinating having all of these different divination mats and boards, especially because the sounds, the tactile experiences across all these things are really different. This is made from neoprene, which is like the same material as like desk mats. I don't know what this material is called, but this is different. Then these are wood, so they're going to have like a lot of just different sounds and tactile experiences. Isn't that fascinating? So those are my little like divination casting sets. Okay, and we've got a lot of Oracle decks and card decks to go through. Let's see what I've got. Most recently, I've got the Poesis Oracle. This one I bought very, very recently. I bought it at the Tarot Art Store in Pasadena, California, and I am so blown away by this deck. I was very intrigued by this deck because I've also got the Reclaim Oracle, which I might as well pull out right now. So I've got the Reclaim Oracle. What I really, really like about this deck is that it's very emotionally smart, you know? Emotionally validating, emotionally smart, emotionally intelligent is what I mean to say. So I've had the Reclaim Oracle for a few years, and I decided that it was time for this deck to get a sibling. You know, I've enjoyed... Oh, this deck is upside down. What am I doing? This deck is just so ingenious. It's very honest, I think. It's very honest, and it makes me want to look at and appreciate and acknowledge my emotions in a more neutral way. This is the epitome of like if a picture could speak 1,000 words. One of my friends whose first language is not English, she was looking through this deck and she was also just really in awe of it. And she just said like, you know, I can see even just from these pictures, just what the feeling feels like, even without always looking at the word first or without knowing what the word is. And that's where this deck really shines, you know, just the fact that they're able to depict such emotions in such an honest and most of the time neutral way it's just really fascinating to me. A lot of the work that I was doing with my life coach in my early, mid, and late 20s was about learning to acknowledge my emotions and be more connected with them. You know, I feel like for some people who have grown up with like very controlling parents or a controlling environment or very busy or overwhelming environment or dysfunctional family, we just learn to dissociate from our emotions. We try to ignore what's going on in our own bodies. This has just supplemented that practice, that work of just being more in tune with myself. I'm really attached to like the monochromatic imagery here. I just felt like it was time for me to branch out into a new deck as well. I was able to flip through a few Oracle decks and Tarot decks at the Tarot Art Store, and I decided that this one was worthy of being brought home with me. This one also has like a monochromatic color palette. You can see the very similar color palette, the styles here. Well, not like art styles, but the color styles, the design styles here. And this one just has some really fascinating imagery that feels very intuitive, and I feel like I could write and journal a lot about these cards. So my plan for this Oracle deck is to use these just as journal prompts, but I'm sure I could use them the same as other Oracle decks, you know, like clarifier cards, setting the tone before or after a reading. Normally I'm not drawn to decks that only have keywords, but I feel that the keywords chosen here, along with the ways that they're actually illustrated here, it is giving me a lot to think about and go off of. So really, really cool deck so far, the Poesis Oracle, supplementing my lovely Reclaim Oracle. In the theme of other emotional-ish or emotional validating decks, I've got the Open Spaces deck, and this one is not really marketed as an Oracle deck. Honestly, I'm not even sure if this is in print right now because I have the site bookmarked, but I don't see a page available at that bookmark page right now. So this one is a fascinating like therapy supplement kind of deck. I really have no idea how to describe this deck other than I think it's fascinating. So there's like 3 types of cards in this deck. This is a me to me kind of card, like a message for yourself. Today feels like a great day card. And then a whole love language type of card. These are just kind of like affirmation cards per se, although they go deeper and more like almost therapy-like than affirmation cards do. Let's do this as an example. Me to me. If someone takes advantage of your kindness, you do not have to offer it to them again. The absence of kindness does not have to equal harm. It's an embodied choice to reclaim your energy. Today feels like a great day to remind myself that valuing embodied wisdom means that sometimes I haven't experienced that myself, so I'm unable to speak on it, is the most supportive response I can offer. That is amazing. I've been reflecting about the Hierophant recently, thinking about my next Tarot Trumps times Tarot Memoirs video. This is fantastic for the Hierophant and that embodied wisdom. A whole love language. I've never offered support to someone in the way that you are needing it. Are you open to learning with me as we go? I don't have the proper words to explain how much this really sings to my soul how much this really like calls me out in a way that I would expect a friend or a coach to call me out. So yeah, this is just a fantastic deck. I hope that if you're able to get your hands on this, if this kind of thing speaks to you, like let me know if you have it as well, because I just like to bond with people who also have this deck and who appreciate things like this. So that's the Open Spaces deck. The other kind of therapy-ish or life coaching-ish deck I have, this is called the Women and the Hourglass deck. So these are both affirmation card decks, and these are also not marketed as oracle decks, so you don't really see them in the oracle or tarot sphere. I don't know if anyone else in the tarot or oracle community like has these decks. So on the back, they have the Spanish and French translations of the card, and on the front is the English translation. So this deck is really special to me because I have used this with my life coach in our first sessions. So at the end of every session, especially when I used to go to her sessions like at her place, she would have me draw a card. And, you know, these cards were just so powerful. Like, imagine me pouring out my childhood woes, realizing that my ego has been stopping me from healing. Baggage has been stopping me from healing. I was feeling so hurt and feeling so, like, downtrodden. And then we pull a card, and the card says, one day she decided to open her hands and receive. Man, it just really sings to my soul. The way that these cards talk about me, the querent, the card drawer, in third person. Granted, every card in here does say she, but I know that that's why it's called Women and the Hourglass. It is definitely geared towards women. The way that the cards are written using the third person, it just makes me feel as if I am just a person in a story, a person in a fairy tale, and I'm free to write my story as I choose. You know, like my story, my future is not predestined. My baggage, my past may have happened, and I may be struggling with some things, but there are things that I can choose to do. One day she decided to forgive herself. Hearing myself be referred to as a regular old person, just like any other old person, it just really changed my mind on how I viewed myself, and especially in the first years of life coaching, when I was learning to reclaim my own sense of agency. Yeah, these are just really wonderful cards, so full of joy. I think this would pair really well with the Playful Heart Tarot. So that is the Women and the Hourglass card deck. I've got the first part and the second part because I just really like this that much. Oh yeah, and to quickly share, I like to just draw them and leave them out on my card stand. I just like to let the messages sink in. So I only really replace the cards when I feel like I need a new message for the next indefinite time period. So these are really great for single card draws and just single reminders to myself. All right, another deck I've got is the Essential Oil Oracle cards. This one was a gift to me one Christmas, and I really appreciate receiving this as a gift. This deck I really like, not because I really follow or care about essential oils. I cannot believe that there are this many essential oils and scents and themes and topics to make cards about, but this is really fascinating. But honestly, I never really care about or pay attention to what the essential oil is. I do pay attention to just the rest of these cards. So the trigger statement or the automatic thought might be, I hate my body. But the true statement or the reframing of that thought can be, my body is my temple. Remember that you are a spiritual being having an earthly experience. Revere your loyal, sacred body. There have been times when I don't really resonate with the words here, so I just draw a new card until I find one that applies to my experience. If you're not feeling this kind of affirmation or this kind of reframe, it might seem like toxic positivity, oh no, I don't feel like treating my body as my temple. That's okay then. You could just ignore this and try a different card that might speak to your experience better. There's just a lot of variety in this deck that makes it feel very useful. Let's try another one. Let's see. What might I be feeling right now that I need an essential oil oracle card for? I am so disconnected. Everything is connected. Okay. So this one, for example, I have been feeling very disconnected from my home and my regular hobbies and my routine this week because I've been preparing for my move, but I can reframe it as everything is connected. So even though I'm feeling disconnected from my routine, I feel that the reassurance here or the reframing here is that I will be able to feel connected in my own time after some time passes. It's okay to feel a little bit of disconnection, a little bit. After I've been waiting this whole week for the move to happen. You know, the move is going to happen tomorrow. I'm not going to worry as much about it anymore. I've just kind of been moving along through the week as best as I can. So this is a nice reminder, a nice affirmation at the end of the week. Oh, look what it says here. It will be beneficial for you to spend time in quiet contemplation. I did spend time in quiet contemplation this week. kind of sitting in anxiety. I still like having this card here, you know, it's just a nice reminder, a nice reframe. So this is one of the few like kind of affirmation-y cards that I have, the Essential Oils Oracle cards. Speaking of other affirmation cards, this is the, why am I always showing them upside down? We've got the I'm Here deck and the companion deck, the This Is Me deck by Murphy Pines. I know that there was a whole struggle in getting this Kickstarter to life, especially from the artist's point of view. But, you know, as someone who works in an art industry, I work in an entertainment industry, which also does have a lot of freelancers. Like, I am sympathetic to the plight of freelance workers and entertainment workers and artists in the past few years. So I don't have anything bad to say about the creator. This is a 50 card Oracle deck, I believe. It is an affirmation deck. And as you can see, like, I use this like tissue box thing to substitute as a ribbon. I'll probably substitute it with an actual ribbon to make it look nicer, but sorry, right now it's a janky like tissue box thing. So this is another set of Oracle cards that is just very emotionally intelligent. The purpose of these cards is to feel grounded, to feel present, probably to help with anxiety, to help with difficult feelings and things like that. I haven't gotten a chance to use it. I have drawn one card a while back when I first got it, and that was really powerful and really like hitting home for me. The art and the characters here, the colors are all just really soft and really adorable, really soothing, really wonderful to look at. So I'm looking forward to working with this deck and just kind of feeling these characters, these beings here. Is it weird to say that like the way that they're presented kind of makes me feel more attuned to these figures? Like I feel more connected with these like blobless, genderless, like blobish creatures than I do with like depictions of people like being people. Does that make sense? Maybe other gender dysmorphic people can relate to that. I don't know. I just really like characters like this. Oh, this is probably from this deck instead. And the guidebook is pretty substantial as well, honestly. Like with my limited experience of Oracle decks, I'm impressed that this one has words and paragraphs and writings for every single card in the deck. And this one also has journaling and action prompts for each card. So there's a lot to work with this deck alone. And then this one here is the This Is Me. This was originally supposed to be different stretch goals. They got compiled into one deck because there were just so many backers that all the stretch goals got hit. So this is different zodiac signs, different planets, different flowers and herbs. There's a lot of just different stuff in here. So this could be really cool for doing like astrology themed readings, spreads, learning more about the elements, maybe journaling about them. So, oh yeah, there's Enneagrams too. My friend Katie is really into Enneagrams. So it would be cool to like learn about these more and work with them more with her or just on my own as well. So yeah, I really like these decks. This is me and I'm here. Speaking of another set of Oracle decks, how could I not mention the Spread Machine Oracle decks? And I know that they're currently called the Spread Crafters, but I'm still going to call them Spread Machine because that's how I like to refer to them. I've done a couple videos showing these and I would like to keep doing more videos showing these. I know that they don't get the most views, and I mentioned that not because like getting more views is always the goal, but it's more that I just want people to find these useful, and I just want to spend time creating video ideas that people would actually find useful, you know? If you haven't seen these, where have you been? Just kidding, but really, where have you been? These decks are really fantastic for creating different spreads and just thinking about readings in different ways. So here we've got seeker related questions or cards or spread positions, opinion, challenge. These are different focus areas like family, parenting children, joy, career, ancestry. We have shadow work cards and light work cards. And we've got these call to action cards, which are my favorite cards to pull because at the end of a reading it's really nice to know what are the actions I can actually take from this reading, from the messages here. So this is just, dude, perfect deck. My favorite decks of all time. And again, I've made a couple videos, or maybe one video that I can remember right now, showing how I use these decks. Maybe I'll show more. Maybe I'll do like a tarot and practice type thing, or just keep showing more example spreads from here. I don't know. Let me know if you're interested. But either way, I still like it, whether you like it or not. So here's the change. Nope, this is the quest edition. This is the change edition. And even though these are labeled expansion packs, you can still read them or have them like as standalone decks. So definitely do not feel obligated to collect the whole set if only one speaks to you. The Change edition, this one is also spread positions, but they're also all game related, game and adventure, RPG related. We've got status cards, power up cards, character. I don't play many RPGs. I did play Pokemon like for a really long time. And I'm currently playing like a little roguelike RPG called Heroes of Hammerwatch. It's not really an RPG, but it has different classes, and that's like the extent of my RPG knowledge, really, so I'm going to stop there. But these are just really, really cute cards. This is such a Kim San kind of deck, because Kim San is all about like gamifying life, leveling up life, like beating the final boss in life kind of deal. So this is totally like a Kim deck. This is her language. This is her brand. Then this one is the Change deck. This one is all themed around social change, but it can also be around change within yourself, change within your relationships as well. This goes really well with the Tarot for Change book, in my opinion. Actually, it would be really fascinating to try to pull cards in conjunction with maybe the excerpts or cards in this deck, in this book. This is an ultimate shadow work deck if I've ever seen one. I don't think people on YouTube ever really do pick a card readings with this, because how are you going to do a pick a card reading for someone and tell them you're alienating someone or you are having some biases? I mean, maybe you can tell your friend that, but for a pick a card reading online, it's a bit dicey. But it would be fascinating if anyone did a pick a card reading, with this deck. I would absolutely love to see videos like that. Yeah, this is a fascinating set of decks. The Spread Machine cards, Spread Crafters cards, whatever you want to call them. We're almost there. Just a few more to go. Are we there yet? No, just a few more to go. All right, so this is another couple decks I'd like to share. They're not the same creator, but they're very similar to me, which is why I chose to show them together. So we've got Messages from the Spirits of Nature Oracle and the Sacred Destiny Oracle. This one I bought from an indie bookstore in Portland during my bachelorette party last year. It was super fun, and I really enjoyed going to an indie bookstore and just getting to see like all the amazing books and decks that they had. Yeah, I can't remember what it was called. If I remember, I'll put it on the screen here. And then this one, the Sacred Destiny Oracle, I bought secondhand from a local tarot shop. I've been really enjoying buying my decks in person. It's a really different experience buying in person versus buying online. So I'd like to keep buying either secondhand online or in person if I can help it. These are very different decks, but they're kind of similar to me so far. The card sizes are actually very similar. I really like this bigger card size. It just feels a little bit more magical that way. This one we've got keywords and the nature thing on the top here. Just a light, kind of straightforward oracle deck. It's nice to have like daily draws or one card pulls for these. I don't really have much to say about this, honestly. I use it and I enjoy using it. I just don't have too much description sometimes for the ways that I use decks, but I enjoy it. This one I haven't used very much yet. I did draw a card for the year in my like end of year tarot recap video. And the card of the year that I got was Trust. Normally, and in the past, I haven't been drawn to oracle decks that have just very simple, straightforward keywords like this. For some reason, I just felt drawn to this deck when I visited that local tarot store, because I just felt like it would be nice to have, for lack of a better word, like a generic oracle deck. I don't know, like a lot of oracle decks do just have keywords, and a lot of these keywords just get repeated across like every single oracle deck. Despite me saying that, I still enjoy having this. And even though I haven't worked with this that often yet, I think that it would be really beautiful to work with whenever I get to that point. And again, I guess I don't have to justify, like, it's okay to have decks that I'm not using every day or every week. Like, just, it's okay to have a collection. I like having a collection of decks because I know that when I feel like having a magical deck to look at and to dive into, I can pull out this deck and start working with it that way. So that is the Sacred Destiny Oracle and the Messages from the Spirits of Nature Oracle. All right, and another couple of decks. We've got Count the Ways of Poets Oracle and the Air Mail and the Air Mail Oracle. So this is the creator, Sarah Stassi. So I found out about these decks because I saw one of her other decks being featured in a video. This is her website, SG Stassi Designs, because her name is Sarah Stassi. These are really, really cute oracle decks. And the creator has a ton of oracle decks to choose from. So I hope you check them out because they're really, really cute and unlike any other oracle deck I've seen. So here's the Airmail Oracle, which is really hard to say with the R's and L's here. So the story behind this Oracle deck is that the creator's grandparents sent a lot of mail back and forth when her grandfather was a Marine. This creator actually inherited like a lot of those old letters. So she collaged them all into this really cool Oracle deck here. Look at this stuff. It's like all the postage and the mail ephemera. So wonder why. And then we've got the wonder of the world, the pyramids here, honor routine, and here's like teapots, kind of like tea ceremonies, you know, that's a kind of routine. Give your all, and here's like this basketball probably, here's metal. I don't know if these little motifs were like drawn or maybe they were like clip art, but the way that the creator has collaged all these together, it is so fascinating. And as someone who is not very connected with her own ancestors, I don't know, I'm kind of projecting my own ancestor work, ancestor feelings onto this deck. I'm not usually drawn to very vintage aesthetics or vintage ideas or aesthetics, but I'm really drawn to this deck. Maybe because it's a good mix of like vintage and also like modern aesthetics. So yeah, this is a really fascinating deck and it's really sweet. I have pulled this at the end of a reading as a little wrap-up message. It's just so sweet. And the creator has explained that like the oracle messages that she wrote here are messages that her grandparents might have written as sign-offs on their letters. So it just gives a little like nostalgic, old-timey feel. Be sweet. Oh, I love this one especially. We have reached a telegraphic money order for you with the following message. Hope to see you soon. Love, Henry. Isn't that so sweet? And just the word here is be patient. I pulled this at the end of a friendship reading and I was like, yeah, that's a perfect way to describe this friendship so far. I need to just be patient. And this one is another really cool deck. This one is another collage deck. So this one is a Poet's Oracle, and this one features lines of poetry from different poets and their poems. I am not very knowledgeable about a lot of poets, so this would be a really cool way to learn more about poetry. I think it's really fascinating how poets exist, how people are just able to write and make art just using their words. I also found the same fascination when I was learning Chinese and went to Chinese school for so many years. I just find it so fascinating how Chinese proverbs can explain so much in just 4 words, 4 characters. And I remember like when I used to dissect like Chinese poems or Chinese lyrics in Chinese school, it was just so fascinating to see the wordplay. And yeah, it's just really fascinating. Poetry is really fascinating. But what's really cool about this deck is that every card in the deck has a supplementary spread to go with it. Let's see. How Do I Love Thee? Let Me Count the Ways by E.B. Browning. Here's a little card spread here. How Do I Love Thee? Sonnet 43. Here's a suggested spread. How can I nurture my talent? What is the desire of my target audience? And what do I hope to achieve? So super cool. This is definitely like a bang for your buck. Yeah, I really love these decks. I really enjoy working with them. And I just hope that more people are aware of them and can get to appreciate them as well. So that is the Airmail Oracle and the Count the Ways a Poet's Oracle. Say Airmail Oracle 3 times fast, right? Airmail Oracle, Airmail Oracle, Airmail Oracle. Another deck I've got is the Knitter's Oracle. I got this from Kickstarter like some years ago. It's a really beautiful, cute little deck. I did not realize until after having the deck for at least a couple years that this is actually modeled after Lenormand. So there are 36 cards in this deck. I have no idea what the different numbered Lenormand cards are, but in this deck, the hand knit gift, for example, would correlate to the number 9 card for the Lenormand card. And the number 9 card is here. This represents something nice, a kind gesture, a little gift, flattery, politeness, social nicety. Inverted, this could mean flattery or a nice gesture with an ulterior motive or false kindness. So yeah, maybe this is like the letter or something. That's my best guess. I really like the aesthetics of this deck. The colors and the cards, the art is just so clean looking to me. It's just very soothing to look at. It's not overwhelming at all. And even though I don't knit and crochet that much anymore, I was really into knitting and crocheting for a long time. So the fiber arts here, the fiber art terms, it's just really satisfying to me. It's really cool to see that like the bind off, for example, this means like finishing a project, tying up all loose ends. The stash, what does the stash represent? Let's see, 33. Wealth, abundance, resources, finances, greed, materialism, lack of wealth, financial problems. Like, isn't that really cool? This is a deck that I want to like actually study and make my own guidebook for, because even though there is a guidebook that I bought along with this deck, I still want to spend time with this deck and intuit messages for myself so that I'm not just like looking at the guidebook every single time. I want to get to the point with this deck that I know it like the back of my hand, you know? It's super, super ingenious. I really like the motifs and the colors and the themes here in this deck. So that's the Knitter's Oracle. Another deck I've got is the Magick Moon Oracle. I bought this secondhand along with some other decks from Facebook. This one I've separated out into two piles here, two categories. This one is a moon themed or lunar themed oracle deck. So here we've got the different phases of the moon. Yeah, we've got probably the full moon here, and then the different phases of the moon. As you can see from the symbols in the top corners here. They've got different keywords according to the different phases of the moon, like waxing and waning and first quarter and all that. And then the other stack I've got here is the different zodiac signs. So each zodiac sign has like two correlating keywords. So for Aries, we have the courageous or the spontaneity seeker. For Taurus, we have the cool and calm or the comfort seeker. So there's different seeking cards and archetype cards for every single zodiac sign here. So I think that this is pretty fascinating to look at and to imagine. It's a pretty cool like astrology study companion. And I didn't expect to get an astrology deck because once upon a time I did say I won't buy any more astrology decks. But what can I say? I'm still curious about it. It is nice to pull out these cards during new moons and full moon readings whenever I feel like I actually want to do a reading with them. So I don't really have like actual study plans or like a syllabus for this deck yet, but I've enjoyed having it. So that's the Magick Moon Oracle deck. Next, we'll show these two together. So we've got Archetype Cards here by Caroline Miss. This is the Asian American Literary Review Tarot. Even though this is a tarot, I consider this very much just an oracle deck or an archetype type of deck because there is no tarot structure to this deck. And then for these archetype cards, this is kind of an oracle deck, but it's really just more archetype cards as the name says. What are archetypes? They're like tropes. They're almost like stereotypes, but in writing. So this card has the light attributes for the archetype on the top and the shadow attributes for the archetype on the bottom here. So it's fascinating to think about these archetypes, these tropes, in light and in shadow. I feel like this could be a good exercise for tying in together with tarot cards. I wonder if it was maybe Lennon Smith or Amidst the Gray, one of those people. They did an experimental video that was like pairing archetype cards with a tarot card, and it was like draw the Hermit and then Alchemist, and then you'd be like, ooh, how does that tie in together? So this is a really cool deck for tying it together with tarot cards or other like writing exercises or reading exercises. This one is, like I said, it's not really a tarot deck. It's more of an oracle deck in my opinion because there's no tarot structure to this. So there's a lot of just different archetypes here and concepts, especially as related to the Asian American experience, especially like the refugee. And on the back of each card, they've got little write-ups for all of the different cards as well. So there's no guidebook here because the guidebook is literally like each card. I will admit this is still on my general like to study, to dive deeper in list queue because there's just a lot here that I would like to get to know better and like to understand and learn about, but it's just a lot to go through. It's definitely not like a lighthearted, fluffy kind of deck, but I'd like to learn it and study it sometime. So Archetypes deck and the Asian American Literary Review Tarot. Next, I've got the Cosma Visions Oracle. This is actually the 22 art cards. So this is the major arcana only. I bought the second hand, which I'm very grateful for because I was debating buying it like first hand, but I'm glad I found a copy second hand for a slightly less price. So I actually had the Cosma Visions Oracle deck, the full 78 card deck. Gave it away because I ultimately was not going to use it. I just didn't feel very connected to the minor arcana, but I felt the majors were very pretty. So once I found out that the creator, James R. Eads, had the majors only art cards, I was like, yeah, that's going to be more in my style. I haven't really like worked with this yet either, but it's just a nice addition to have in my collection. We've got like the explanation of the card here. This oracle is related to past lives or like James's theory of past lives. So even though I don't really connect with it like on a spiritual level, I am fascinated by the concepts of it. And actually, the major arcana here do tie in well with the major arcana of the tarot. So, like, for example, oh, they don't have like the names of the cards here. I think, okay, this is called Life on Earth here. Okay, I got it. This one is called The Unknown, which correlates with Judgment. This one is Life on Earth, which correlates with the world. Infinite Pathways, which correlates to the sun. So yeah, that's a quick look at the Cosma Visions Oracle. And lastly, I will share the playing card decks that I have. I don't use these for Oracle reasons or tarot reasons. I know that there are people who do read with playing cards and like there's a method to it. I don't know what that method is yet. One day I will know, but that day is not today. So these two were created by the artist Shino Yume, who is based in Southeast Asia. So this one is a Sailor Moon themed deck. This one is Cardcaptor Sakura. I don't really know if these are in print. These are not marketed in like the tarot and oracle world or the playing card world really. These are more like artistic cards, but I'd like to show them off anyway because they're just cute and I think people should know about them. So this one is all Sailor Moon. I've got all the different characters in Shino Yume's art style. And I do have like their other tarot deck, which is like a full card sized version. I am just happy to have like all things Sailor Moon, but only by certain artists. Maybe I'll do a flip through of this one of these days. So yeah, that's the Sailor Moon playing card deck. And this is the Chibi Cloud card playing card deck, which is basically just based after Cardcaptor Sakura. I admit I've only watched like maybe 2/3 of the anime. I haven't finished it yet. Sailor Moon is definitely a lot more my style, but I would like to pick it up one of these days and finish the series. I have a big crush on the voice of the person who voices like Sakura's crush. This is the same person who voices Sailor Uranus in the Sailor Moon anime. Dude, her voice, what can I say? It's very attractive. Yeah, so this is the Chibi Cloud cards. These are based after the Cloud cards that Sakura picks up throughout the show. Yeah, Sailor Moon deck and Chibi Cloud cards, little playing cards here. And then lastly, I will share this deck of Care. I bought this one secondhand. So this one is playing cards, which are loosely themed after the tarot cards, actually. The hearts are emotion, which is also like cups or water, Ace of Cups or Ace of Water, Ace of Hearts. Spend some time daydreaming about what makes you truly happy. That feels pretty Ace of Cups, right? Two of Cups. Pick 3 things to do on your own this week that will bring you joy. 4 of Swords, 4 of Clubs. Meditate, visualizing light filling your body. That definitely feels like 4 of Swords energy. So this is a very fascinating little deck of like just self-care activities. I have not used this in a while. Actually, this was on loan to my friend for a long time. This is nice to have in theory. I'd also like to be someone who uses this more often, but I don't. But I'm glad knowing that this exists. The activities here are just really fascinating. And I know that they could work really well with like other tarot readings, use them as like a call to action kind of thing as well. But they're really just self-care activities. Very simple, very straightforward. So that's the deck of Care. All right, so that is all of the oracle decks that I have and the books and the divination, the charm casting stuff, the tarot tiles, tarot coins that I have. My voice is going. There's not much else to say. I'm moving soon, and soon these decks will have a new place in my new home as I figure out what to do with them and how to use them better in my life. All right, well, that is all I got for today. Thanks for watching. Bye.